Hi. All right, so today I want to talk about your healing routine. And I want to talk about your life, and I want to talk about how it all relates to each other. I want to talk about fatigue and chronic illness and chronic illness, and I just want to kind of piece it all together from like a higher perspective instead of what we do every day. So I just want to talk about what I've done and where I'm at this morning, and just give you an overall picture, like put up a stop sign and say like, what is going on? Okay. So this morning I've woken up, I've taken care of my children, I've got them dressed, got them fed, packed their bags, made the beds, got them off to school. Then I did my great big exercise. I did exercise. It was raining, so I did my walk in the rain. I came back. I did a little stretching. I did some meditation, and then I started to prep food for the day because obviously I'm hungry. So I made myself a tea. So here we go. I've made myself a tea so that I could just. Oh my goodness, is my battery low? Okay, so I've made myself a tea. Let me just show you. Okay, so here we go. Here's my kitchen. So this is what I've gotten out so far this morning. So I got out my bone broth, which I made last night in my Instant Pot. So I've got my chicken bone broth ready to go. And I'm like, okay, I've got to, start eating healthy this morning, right? So just stay with me for a minute. So I've gotten all my vegetables that could go bad soon. I've gotten lemons, limes, a bowl full of celery. Basically, it's all celery, carrots, cucumbers at the bottom of this. I put it in cold water, washed it, and then I was taking it over to my juicer. So I'll just do that with you here. And this is all going to be juiced this morning. And then I'm just going to put it in little, so you can see my juicer. I'm going to be putting it in, drink some, and then I'll be putting it in smaller, not the great large ones, but like in smaller, medium size containers in the fridge and some in the freezer. However many we get, we might get 3 glasses out of this or something. So 1 to drink, 1 in the fridge, 1 in the freezer. And like all that food, which is quite a lot actually, is going to be used up for 3 glasses. And it's just like, oh my God. And it takes so much time. So already I'm trying to get my motivation, and I'm saying, okay, I have to juice. It's going to take me like an hour. I've got to do this. Okay. So I've got to fit it in. Got my Vitamix out so that I can make my smoothie next. More greens, more vegetables. Everything that I've gone through healing things before. So now I'm like, okay, but what am I going to eat for dinner? So I'm already starting to plan that. I'm already getting out, so I've got out my bone broth that I made here from yesterday. I've gotten this bowl of carrots, which came out of my garden, that I've washed. It took forever to cut up. And then I've gotten beets from the farmer's market, and I've got squash. So this is what I've got in front of me. And because, if you're on a healing journey, God forbid you eat tomatoes because they're nightshades. So I'm like, okay, so I'm probably going to be making chili because my children asked for chili. So I can't use beans for myself, and I can't use, because of the lectins, and I can't use tomatoes for myself. So I have to make like a whole another meal for myself. So I like to go ahead and make like a faux sauce for myself so that when I do go to make the chili, which is more work, we'll have a sauce to go with it. So here we have my Instant Pot. I'm going to pour in this bowl of carrots. Okay. Then I'm going to take some beets. I'm going to chop them up. And I'm just going to set this here while I chop them up. So basically, I'm just going to take some beets. I am going to chop up, take off any parts on the outside that look yucky for any reason, and that'll go in my Instant Pot. Probably going to take about 4 or 5 beets, and I'll probably juice the rest. So basically the carrots and the beets and some squash maybe, or pumpkin or something, will make the base of my tomato sauce, right? My faux sauce, because again, God forbid we have tomatoes. So we're making things hard on ourselves, right? Like, we all have to eat. So the idea is that we want to eat and flood our body with nutrients. And I'm already thinking about, I've already visited the farm and got my grass-fed meats and everything like that. So now I can prepare. But when you think about this food prep, okay, so it's 10 o'clock in the morning, right? It's 10 o'clock in the morning. I've already gotten my kids to school. I've already done my exercise. I've already done some meditation. I've already done a ton of stuff, right? I'll take one more because since I'm doing it, I want to make sure it goes far. Okay. All right. So there we go. Maybe I'll do one more. Okay. And I'll juice the rest of those. So this is going to be a lot in the end. Okay. So what I want to say is I've already done all this stuff with my kids, right? I've already done stuff for my health. Now I'm coming back. The juicing, which for most of you, if you're being honest, you go through phases. Like I've gone through phases where I've done tons of juice cleanses, juice diets, whatever, but they fade out over time. If you have a chronic illness that lasts a long time, it fades out because you just literally can't keep up the juicing day in. So I'm just going to put this here, try to stand it up. Okay, so you basically just can't keep up the juicing day in and day out because it's just so much energy. So I'm putting these in my Instant Pot now with the carrots, right? Okay, great. So I'm going to put in some of my bone broth that I made. And I have those squashes, but because I can't cook them up in the same pot because they still have the skins on, I can't pre-cook them. I'm going to have to use my squash for another meal. So because I don't have anything else fresh that I can throw in there to make my tomato sauce, I'm probably going to, I'm just looking in my fridge now. So you can see in my fridge down here with my vegetable drawers, I've got sweet potatoes, which I don't eat because of the starch. I've got regular potatoes for the kids. Okay, I've got carrots, more carrots, lettuce, leeks. Okay, so I'm going into my freezer now. Let's see what I have. Okay. I'm looking for frozen squash, by the way. That's what I'm looking for, but I didn't come up with any. I might have some downstairs in the freezer. So I will go downstairs in the freezer. So all I want to say about this so far as I'm doing this, I want to switch topics now. And I want to talk about my life, right? So if you are doing this and you are dedicated to healing yourself, day in, day out, I'm going to open up my freezer here, my storage freezer. I'm going to look for my vegetables. And I'm out of frozen squash. So that's not what I want. That's not the answer that I wanted, but I'm going to go ahead and make it just with beets and carrots, which will be good enough. I'm going to look through my freezer here and get some of my grass-fed meat while I'm down here. So this is a grass-fed ground beef. I might as well bring up 2 because I know my kids are going to need some as well. Okay, so that is not the point of this, okay? This is the point of things that you can do. But here's the real question. Are you exhausted from your healing routine? Ask yourself, are you totally, mentally, physically, spiritually exhausted from your healing routine? Because I know I am. I know I get totally 100% exhausted, okay? Because this has turned into a lifestyle, right? So, sorry, as we talk, I'm just going to put this on because why not, right? I have so much to do, I might as well video and get some of my things done. So I'm just going to plug in my Instant Pot. I'm venting. Going to put it on. Okay, there we go. My Instant Pot is turned on. And now I come beside it and I'm like ready to juice. So I'm probably just going to start chopping some vegetables as I talk because this is not the point of this video. And I realize it's not an easy video to watch because I keep on moving everything around. But I didn't pre-plan this video. I just wanted to get out some of my thoughts. Hang on. And some of my thoughts about healing, okay? So, all right. I'm gonna get my knife. then I'm just gonna start chopping, because as you know, juicing is a lot of work. You can't just throw the apples in unless you have a certain kind of juicer. So it takes chopping as you go along, okay? So I'm just gonna be working as I talk. All right. Okay, so the point of all of this is that it's exhausting trying to heal yourself. And if you have made a vow to yourself, if you're a type A, if you're a perfectionist, if you have vowed that you're never gonna give up and you're gonna do everything you can, and you're gonna be one of those people who just does it and stops complaining about it, wakes up, does the work, does the exercise, does the juicing, does the smoothies, does the stews, does the autoimmune protocol, does, you know, all the elimination diet, whatever you're doing, you're gonna do the protocols, you're gonna do the enemas, you're gonna do the stretching, you're gonna do take the supplements, right? If that's you, and then you aren't getting better, this is what generally happens. You get fully 100% jaded, right? Jaded and angry inside. Your anger starts to fester inside, right? Because you're doing this, okay? So imagine you're already ill. You already harbor resentment in your life because your life has not turned out the way that you want it to, right? You have children, you have responsibilities, you have jobs, and now you basically, your illness has surfaced so that you will take some of that responsibility off your plate. Maybe now you don't go to work, and that is a reason, it's like a subconscious reason that your body is getting the illness because it wants time to rest, it wants time to heal, it wants time to like shed the responsibilities. It wants, there's a subconscious reason why these illnesses exist, okay? But if you're a type A and you want to heal yourself and you feel, see, I'm not working now because my full-time job now is healing. So do you get it? My full-time job has become healing, which great, because I want everybody to know, and I want my kids and my family and everybody and myself to know that I've done everything that I could, right? Is this you? You want to know, and you want everybody to know that you are doing everything that you can. Leave no stone unturned, right? This is a type A perfectionist, and this is exactly what's perpetuating the illness. And I realize that I'm perpetuating my own illness as I am chopping the vegetables, right? But I don't stop because I'm a perfectionist, and because I'm a perfectionist, and I want to do something, I want to do something that has meaning and value, and I want to crack the code on this, and I want to work and work until I find out exactly what it takes to heal myself, because if other people have done it, why not me, right? The problem is you don't know what those other people were thinking or what they were doing as they were healing. They might not have been putting the same amount of pressure on themselves that you are putting on yourself, or that I am putting on myself to heal, right? Pressure perpetuates illness. And if you're not working and you're staying at home and healing has become your full-time job, you are still putting the same amount of pressure, you're still doing the same amount of work, you're still doing all the things that you don't actually want to do, but now it's just so that you can heal. It's a distraction. Do you see? It's a distraction as I continue to chop and as I continue to do this day after day. And it dawns on me. It's starting to dawn on me, okay? So I'm just sharing these thoughts as I'm coming up. It's starting to dawn on me like, this isn't working. If it was going to have worked, it would have worked. Like, you're doing it. And yes, healing is slow, but you're doing all these things and you're doing it right. You're doing the healing right. You're doing everything you can. But what you're not doing is actually taking the time to let your body heal. What does your body want? It wants to be loved. It wants to be nurtured. It wants to be taken care of. It wants to be accepted, right? It wants to feel safe and loved. And it wants to have these feelings. And my point is, just as much as personality and illness and pain can be a distraction from the actual deeper emotions that are going on underneath ourselves, so can the healing tactics and processes that we take to get better too, right? We're doing all the work to heal, but we're not actually doing what our body needs to heal, right? Our body needs rest. It needs love. It needs comfort. It needs understanding. It needs all of these It needs things that aren't found in juice or bone broth or soups or stews or exercise or stretching or, you know, massage or manipulation of any kind, or it needs what you're searching for, right? What you've lost. Think back to when you were healthy, right? What was happening? You had secure relationships, you had love, you had purpose in your life. And now your purpose has become healing. But let me ask you, if you weren't doing healing as a full-time job, if somebody waved the healing wand over top of you, what would you do? What would you do with your time? And you say, oh, well, that's easy. I'd just resume my life. I'd go back to work. I'd, you know, pick up with the same friends. I'd do the same things. I don't think that's true. Ask yourself, look deeper. If you did that, would you just get sick again? Probably. Probably you would. Because you're sick for a reason. You're sick because you're not allowing yourself to think certain things or do certain things, or it's enraging. It's enraging and infuriating, and it causes so much tension and problems that I'm doing this every day because I'm doing this to heal my body. Take a look, it's a lot of work and I still have to juice it. And I don't want to be, right? I don't want to do it. There's a little child inside of me, a 5-year-old child that says, you know, like, screw this. Like, nobody else has to do this to be healthy. You know, there's a little part of me that says, this is bullshit. Like, why do I have to work so hard to be healthy? And there's a little part of me that wants to rebel and say, no, I don't want to do any of this. I don't want to chop vegetables. I don't want to plan. I don't want to do all this healing work. I don't want the work. I don't want the responsibility. I don't want the effort. I don't want, right? But then there's another part of me that says, well, then you're a bad person. You're not doing everything that you can. You're not going to heal. You know, if you don't keep this pressure built up so that you do everything that you can do, then you're not going to heal. And that's a lie. That's the lie. That's the ego talking to yourself. The self that says you're not good enough, you won't be good enough, you need to do more, be more for yourself and for others, or you're never going to attain that feeling of you are good enough, perfection, right? You're always going to feel a sense of loneliness or fear of abandonment, or that you're just not good enough, right? But the fact of the matter is you're good enough. You are good enough without the soups, without the stews, without the exercise, without all the juice, without the smoothies, without the supplements, without all the work that you put into it. You're good enough just as you are, right? And it's a matter of connecting to your inner self and saying, today I don't feel like juicing, so I'm not going to do it, and I'm not going to beat myself up because I'm good enough. When I put something into my mouth, when I feel hungry, I'm going to make sure that it's a whole, nourishing food that I like. But today I don't feel like it, right? I want to do this. I just want to lay down, or I want to watch TV, or I want to just relax, or I want to, you know, have you isolated yourself and made healing your full-time job? Are you isolating everything and throwing yourself into healing? These are questions that you need to ask yourself because they're serious questions and they have serious answers and consequences to them. And those consequences are perpetuated illnesses, right? They're perpetuated illnesses. It's a form of compulsion and obsessive compulsive disorders, and it's a form of beating yourself up. It's a form of never letting yourself be perfect. It's a form of not being good enough. It's a form of self-punishment. It's a form of believing that you're flawed in some way and you need to do these things to be okay and to be healed and to be perfect. And that is not true. It's a lie. You are perfect the way you are. And when you stop obsessing about the food, stop obsessing about the body, stop obsessing about the symptoms, stop focusing on the life that you don't want to have and start living the life that you do want to have. If you wake up and you feel like, I really want a juice today, and you go and you make that juice and you feel so good about it, then that's a choice that you've made and you feel great. But when it becomes a to-do list and something that, something on the wall that you have to attain in order to feel good about yourself, that's not where the healing comes, right? If you want to go for a walk because it's a beautiful day, you just feel like getting outside in the fresh air, that's a choice that you're making. It's a healthy thing that you are doing. But if you're like, oh man, I have to go for a walk and I have to do this to heal, I have to meditate, that's the wrong approach. You're not going to heal that way. You can do it. Trust me. I have done it over and over and over and over for years, okay? I thought it would just catch up to me. All these vegetables would just catch up to me and my body would just be miraculously healed, but that is not where the problem is. The problem, as much as it feels like it's in your body, is not in your body, it's in your mind. You're resisting being healthy when you continually focus on what you need to do and attain in order to be healthy. You are health. You are healing. You have to get out of your own way. You have to get out of your own way. I have to get out of my own way. I have to say, I am healed. I'm already healed. I just haven't started to live the life that I would live if I was healed because I'm still too focused on healing and my symptoms and everything else. And once I focus on and once I start to become peace and serenity and love and light and joy and joyfulness, and it's hard, it's hard. It's a process. It's a process of coming back to yourself, of being okay with yourself, of loving yourself, of knowing that it's not about drinking 1,000 juices. It's about telling yourself that you love you 1,000 times. It's about letting your deeper emotions talk and come out, what you want, what you don't want, and acknowledging those and acting on those and being at peace with those, even if those aren't the things that you truly want. Just acknowledging your feelings, accepting them, listening to yourself 1,000 times. It will be way more powerful than drinking 1,000 of these. I'm not saying that the answer is to abandon all healthy food and processes and exercise and walking. I don't believe that. I believe there's health to be found in those things. But it's more about your subconscious and the reasons and, the battle going on within yourself. You have to end the battle. This isn't a battle for health, right? It's not a battle to do more, to be more, to get healthy. It is becoming yourself, getting those two sides of yourself that battle each other to become one, to be at peace with each other, to hear yourself and acknowledge those parts instead of fighting them. So this has kind of been a weird rattling on, unfocused. I'm not really even sure what I want to talk about, but it's because sometimes I just want to point out that you can be doing everything right and you might be doing everything wrong. By doing everything right and exhausting yourself to heal, you're actually making yourself further away from health and more towards illness. Don't isolate yourself to heal. Don't put the pressure and the to-do list on yourself to heal. Don't make healing a full-time job. Make the life you want to live your full-time job. Be who you want to be. Go for the dreams and the visions that you have. Worry less about your symptoms and more about how you would live your life if you didn't have any. And yeah, so that's it. Okay, happy healing. I'm going to be juicing, but first I'm going to take a little break. I'm going to drink my tea. I'm just going to relax. And then when I feel like I want to juice a little, I'm going to juice. But I'm also going to aim to get out in the world today and do something towards a life that, I normally hold myself back from because I'm sick or whatever. So I'm going to go out and do something, anything, for myself or for someone else or anything that I might do if I wasn't at home juicing. But for now, I'm hiding in the juicing, aren't I? I'm hiding in the juicing. So it's one step at a time. Today I'm going to juice while I think about what I want to do tomorrow maybe instead of juice. It's a process. It's a hard process to come to. But I'm coming to it more and more.